So what are we going to discuss today? So we have discussed different areas related to social policy, who makes social policy in Pakistan. Now we come to federalism. So what is federalism and what is the effect of federalism and 18th Amendment on the social policy making? So federalism is the acceptance of differences. It is the acceptance of diversity, whether it's ethnic, religious, cultural. It is the acceptance of governments at regional and local level. It is the acceptance of the idea that each government has a legitimate sphere, distinct from the other ones, to influence its own area or its own sphere. These areas are usually demarcated by a document. This document is called Constitution. So it's Constitution which divides the domains of federal, provincial and local governments. And federalism is the principle on which this division is made. So Pakistan is a country which is multi-ethnic, multi-religious and multilinguistic. And Pakistani states recognizes these differences. At least 4 different regions, Punjab, Balochistan, Sindh and KP are recognized, each having a distinct language and a distinct culture. De jure, Pakistani elite has always accepted federalism. So there has always been provincial governments starting from 1947 to 2019. But de facto, this has not been the case. Pakistan has been a very centralized entity since its inception. It was only in 2010 with the 18th Amendment that situation changed a little bit. So now we come to the federalism in the 1956 Constitution, which is the first Constitution of Pakistan. As we have discussed in the previous modules, Pakistan has 3 constitutions in the last 72 years. The first one was 1956 Constitution, the second one was 1962 Constitution, and the third one, which is the current one, is the 1973 Constitution. So coming back to 1956 Constitution and federalism, in the very first article, it is written that Pakistan is a federal republic with 2 provinces. Just before the 1956 Constitution, there was the policy of making a one unit, which was merging all the 4 provinces in the West Pakistan into one province. The idea behind it was to deny the East Pakistan and the Bengalis their due share in political power, as was clear that Bengalis were more than 50% of the Pakistan population. They would have dominated in a democratic dispensation. But making one unit, the Pakistani elite tried to equalize the 2 wings, that is the East Wing and the West Wing. So this is the map of the 2 units. So on the left side is the West Pakistan, and all the divisions between different provinces have been eliminated, vanished. So it's one province with its capital at Lahore, and then the other one is the East Pakistan with the capital at Dhaka. So in 1956 Constitution, the part 4 of it is related to federal government. It tells you about how federal government works, how the parliament works, what parliament is constituted of. So at that time, there was a National Assembly with 300 members, half coming from East Pakistan and the other half coming from West Pakistan. The peculiarity of this constitution was that there was no Senate. There was no second chamber. So the federating units didn't have the Senate to stop anything from happening, which they don't like. The details about the role of the provincial governments and provincial assemblies is given from Article 70 to 75 and 76 to 104. If we look at these articles, it is clear that governors are powerful under this constitution. So they don't have always to listen to the advice of the chief ministers, as is the case now. There are 3 legislative lists. We have discussed it before. The federal legislative list had 30 subjects. The provincial legislative list had 94 subjects and the concurrent list had 19 subjects. The parliamentary legislation was deemed to be more powerful and prevalent as compared to provincial legislation. So if there were two laws, one by the federal government and other by the provincial government, it was the federal law which prevailed. Provinces also couldn't borrow as there were restrictions in it. The NFC, which divided the assets between the provincial government and the federal government, also was dominated by the federation. Federation can also give directions to the provinces. Moreover, there were federal services which controlled the provinces. And under the proclamation of emergency, federal government can actually control everything in the province.